Rico Cavilla, and welcome to this episode of Fearless Aging, where in every episode, my guests and I, we strive to offer you proven tips and strategies that you can implement immediately to greatly improve your overall health and well-being. So we're here to inspire you and empower you to become your best self so you can go out and make a bigger positive difference in the world. So the title of today's episode is one that I'm really interested in because we really haven't addressed this very much in the past. It's about detoxifying your body from the damage of past diets, and particularly weight loss type diets. So our expert guest is Joe Hoye. His journey in health and fitness began at age 13, inspired by his mother's strength and guidance. And despite a detour in college that led to weight gain, Joe reclaimed his health through discipline, fitness, and nutrition. And this personal transformation drew others to seek his advice and sparking his passion for helping others. Joe's approach is holistic, recognizing that true fitness involves more than just diet and exercise. He leads a diverse team at Hoye Fit, including a registered dietitian, mindset specialist, movement specialist, and behavior change specialist, all committed to providing comprehensive support. So through Hoye Fit, Joe has helped thousands of women achieve balance and transformation in their lives. His story is one of resilience, compassion, and committing to uplift others, make him a trusted ally in their journey to health and well-being. So Joe Hoye, thanks so much for being here.
Rico, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but I really appreciate the work that you were doing, and I'm totally on board with all the things that you are doing, and that I really appreciate that you have that well-rounded. You have all those different people, which is really what it takes. It's not just about going on a diet or doing some exercise. So that's really good. So how about we start with, since this is mostly we're going to talk about detoxification, talk a little bit about how you define detoxification and why it's so important.
Yeah, so I look at it a little bit different than most people are probably going to think of the word detox, because when we think of detox, we're thinking of these crazy juice cleanses or these really long fasts where you remove just about everything from your body. And the only thing that I want today's listeners to detoxify from is low calorie diets, fake foods, and just unsustainable practices. And so when I say diet detox, that's a method that we came up with to really remove the damage that's done to you by past diets. And we know that if you're eating these low calorie diets for months or years on end, you're doing far more harm to your body than you are good. And that's kind of my mission, is to show women specifically over the age of 40 that you can eat more than you think. And by doing that, you're going to change your life in a really positive way.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Well, I do want to add detoxification, as you talk about some fast or juice fast and those things can be helpful, especially if you're having some sort of an illness or you have some kind of a thing that can help the healing process. But really what we're talking about here is how to develop a proper diet that can make up for lack of nutrition and all these things that happen to you. So also tell us a little bit how you got into this and how you determined that this was something that was really needed to teach people how to detox from these past fad diets.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick before I do that, I do have to agree with you. I want to say that detoxes in that sense are good. Like if you're trying to cure an ailment or an illness, that's fine. But when you start detoxing from those things for weight loss, that's kind of where I draw the line. But the way that I got into this is when I was 13 years old, I grew up in my mom's house. It was really just myself and her most of the time. She was my most strong, consistent role model. And at 13, she saw I was going down the wrong path. I started to get picked on at school and by people that were my peers. And at the same time, I was starting to hang out with the wrong kids and make some pretty dumb choices. And she saw that. She saw both happening. And her little olive branch for that was to get me in the gym. So one night she was going to the gym and she's like, "Hey, buddy, I'm going to go to the gym. I know your homework's done. I know you ate dinner. I'd love it if you came with me." And I jumped on that opportunity because, like I said, I was getting picked on. I was a super tall, skinny kid that was not athletic, not smart in school, not really good at much. And I was like, makes sense to me. Like, all the men that I see in the gym and on the fitness magazines, they're in the gym and they look like I want to look. So I'm going to go and get that result. And the minute that I stepped in there, I fell in love. And the minute I stepped in there, it also redirected me into this life I have now versus what I would have had. So part one of my story is I just want to give back to my mom, because if she didn't get me in there, she never would have changed my life. Part two is you mentioned in the intro that I came across some weight gain in college, and that's absolutely true. From the age of 13 to 18, I kept going to the gym. I couldn't really gain any muscle. I was about 5 to 10 pounds heavier at 18 than I was at 13. Still skinny, still getting picked on. But I graduate high school, I go to college, I'm off on my own, and so I start picking up drinking and partying. And while I'm still going to the gym, I'm treating my body like crap. I'm drinking a lot of alcohol, making bad choices, sleeping poorly, and that resulted in me gaining, roughly 80 pounds in a year and a half. So I went from 145 pounds up to 225. And then I had a new problem. I was just overweight. Like I was still slow, still unathletic, not very good in school. I was just fat, and I didn't like that either. But at the same time, I was pursuing a career in the medical field. And so I had to take courses in anatomy, physiology, kinesiology, nutrition, get a really good understanding of what the body needed to create change. And because of that, I ditched the partying. I really dialed everything in. And that is when I made that change. I went from 225 down to the roughly 195 that I am now. Growing up in a small town, people ask me, they're like, Joe, how did you do that? Like, I saw you really skinny, I saw you overweight, and now I see you. You're fit, you're athletic, you're pretty good at stuff, you're very confident. Like, can you teach me how to do that? And I had enough people ask to where number one, I said yes, but number two, I had to start charging because there were so many people wanting help. And so I started running these online fitness challenges through Facebook and Zoom, and I started getting signups because I'm just posting everything. Hey, if you want this transformation, I'll help you. And transparently, Rico, I thought I wanted people like me, young men that wanted to either gain muscle or lose fat and be confident. But the second I opened up my first coaching call on Zoom and I looked back at everybody that joined, nobody looked like me except for like 2 college friends that just wanted to support their friend. Everyone looked like my mom. And I was like, oh no, what did I do? And I think it's just because I grew up with my mom like 90% of the time. I hung out with her and her friends, and I learned to communicate in a way that resonated with them. So I naturally spoke to them and I naturally drew them in. And I was nervous at first, but at the end of that first call, number one, we were all having fun and laughing. At the end of that first 8 weeks, everyone got results. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this isn't what I thought I wanted, but I love this. And so I'm going for it. At the time, I wasn't making enough money to only do fitness. So I was still working in surgery. I got my job in surgery as a surgical technologist. That role had me setting up the operating room for the doctors. And then when they came in, I would assist them and help with the procedures. Again, getting pushed in this direction, they thought it was a great idea to take the one male on the team, it was myself and 7 other women, and stick him inside the OB and GYN based rooms. And so again, here I am getting pushed over here. And it worked well because in my day job, I was learning about how the female body functioned. I was learning about what this woman on the table could have done proactively to avoid getting in here. And I was taking that knowledge and applying it to my clients outside in my coaching business. And that's it. That's kind of my 3-part story is number 1, I want to give back to my mom. Number 2, I have fun with these ladies. Yeah. And number 3, I understand their body extremely well. And so it's the obvious choice for me. And 6 years later, here I am.
Yeah, that's a great story. That's really a great story. And what I'm hearing too was you were still working out in college, but you still got overweight. So it really comes down to diet. I mean, exercise is important, but it's really the food that you put in your body. Here's a real quick story you'll appreciate. I used to know Jack LaLanne, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
And he used to have the famous saying, exercise is king and nutrition is queen. And I used to argue with him because we were representing a company called Fitness Age about 10 years ago. And so I say, no, you can exercise really well and you can be fairly fit, but if you're not eating good nutrition, you're not going to have good health. So actually nutrition is should be king and exercise is queen. And he wouldn't budge, but we used to have that argument. That's pretty funny.
I'm with you. I'll take your side.
Absolutely. So again, that's a great story, and I really appreciate what you're doing. So, so let's talk about some of what you discovered. And by the way, I would say too, you definitely want to stick with us till the end. We've only got about, about 16 more minutes. So we're going to tell you how you can contact Joe and how you can get a free coaching. One person can get some free coaching session, and plus he has some good free information on his website. So we'll tell you how to do that. And so what I'd like you to talk about a little bit now, how you discovered what is some of the damage that has done from some of these fad diets?
Well, what we're seeing mainly is the first thing is it's ruining these ladies' metabolisms and their metabolic health. And so what I mean by that is their ability to burn calories starts to decrease. And so if somebody's been on all the big name diets that I don't want to say right now, but we can think of what they are. They've been eating 1,000 calories a day, 1,200, 1,400 calories a day for the past 10, 15, maybe even 30 years. And because of that, their body's gotten used to that amount of food. So it no longer loses weight on it. It simply survives. When in reality, these women should be eating 1,800, 2,000, 2,200 calories. And that's where it needs to be, not just for survival, but for thriving. And I know that if we have anybody listening that is a woman 40 plus, they're like, oh my God, this guy is crazy. But until you try it, you're never going to know.
Yeah. No, that's not crazy at all. So, see, the other thing that happens, as you know, Joe, is when you're on a really low calorie diet, your body thinks you're starving, and actually it holds on to body fat to protect you, because fat is protective in the body. And the other point is, none of these fat diets, they may be helpful to lose a little weight initially, but they're unsustainable. First of all, as you say, you're not getting enough nutritional value that you need, and they're unsustainable. And so when you go back, then your body then you tend to overeat, and you just gain more weight than you had to the fat. So that's such an important thing for our audience to understand. And again, I appreciate the work that you do. And by the way, I also want to mention, I just looked at your website. You've got a lot of good testimonies of all the people that you've helped, all the ladies that you've helped. So that's
We've
really
helped
good.
A few ladies. Yeah, the other thing that you said, Rico, is they're going to lose weight on these diets. But what is that weight? Is it body fat, or are they just losing their muscle?
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely. So anything else you can tell people? You can talk about why it's so destructive to your health to go on any kind of a really fad diet.
Well, I mean, we just hit the main ones. Is you're going to ruin your metabolic health. You're not going to get the nutrients that you need. Number one, it's not sustainable, so you're not even going to stick to it. You're going to lose your muscle mass, which means that if you do end up reaching that desired number on the scale, it doesn't really matter, because what you're after, even though you think so, what you're after is not the number on a scale. You're after this imagined feeling in your body, how you feel. You're after this imagined look of your body, right? Nobody goes up and says what their body weight is when they introduce somebody. They just introduce somebody and people look at their body, right? Like, you're after a look, not a number.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely right. And I think you'll agree with this. I tell people, you actually got to forget about it. You should throw away your scale and stop weighing yourself. It's not about how much you weigh. It's how much excess body fat you have, And so obviously, if all these weight loss diets and pills and powders work, we'd be a nation of lean, thin people, right? So you have to change your whole mindset. It's about getting your body healthy and fit, and then the body that shows up will be a lot healthier, and it'll be the right body for you. I'm sure you agree with that as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, realistically, if any of these worked, right, if they truly worked to get you where you wanted to be, nobody would be searching. Like, it would be the most well-known thing in the world. Okay, but if it's not, that means that there is going to be a little bit of effort that needs to be put in, and it's not through a diet.
It's a big mind shift, isn't it?
It is massive.
Okay, I tell you what, we're going to take a short 60-second break. I have an important message for you, and when we come back, Joe's going to tell us about some of he has a free diet detox method. He's going to tell you how you can learn about that and what that's all about, how it can really transform your life. So we'll be back in 60 seconds. Hello, I'm Rico Cavella, creator of the Ageless Living Lifestyle. If you are concerned about premature aging and you want to avoid disease and old age and you want to live a more healthy, energetic, and vital long life, I have proven solutions for you. So number one, go to agelesslivinglifestyle.com and take our aging quiz to see how well you are doing. And number two, book your free coaching session with me to discuss your wellness challenges, and I promise to get you going on the right track. You can transform your health and your life, and I can help. All right, we are back with our expert guest, Joe Hoye. He's the creator of Hoye Fit, which is hoyefit.com. And we're talking about all the importance of learning how to rejuvenate your body if you've been on all these fad diets, and how to detox yourself from all the damage that you've done. So, Joe, talk a little bit about, I know on your website you have one of the things that you offer people is free. It's your free diet, I'm sorry, excuse me, your free diet detox method. Talk a little bit about what that's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is taking anyone that's curious through the exact steps on how to accomplish exactly what we've been talking about for the last 20 or so minutes. It's going to go from assuming that you have no knowledge of where you are right now and where you need to go. It's going to tell you how to do it, also why it's important to do it. And we're going to walk you through every step of the way until you give your body exactly what it needs and ultimately get back to that thriving state and get out of that surviving state. So start to finish, it's just a free course that I wrote for everyone to consume.
That's so good. Okay, so tell us about some of those basic steps that for our audience that's listening right now. What should you do? What could you do right now if you know that you've been on all these diets and you haven't had the success that you've been looking for? What would you recommend to them that they could start? What should they start doing right now, in addition to get a hold of you and contact you and try and get that free coaching session and get all the information off the website? How could they begin to change their mindset and actually take action?
Well, I mean, how do you start changing your mindset is a big question. But it's all going to start with a decision to click any of the links that you provide, Rico, a decision to apply for free coaching, a decision to download the diet detox. And then from there, just keep making those decisions. But all it starts with is one. And it's truly a really simple one. But if you ever want to talk to me, I do offer free coaching calls. It is one 15-minute coaching call. I'm never going to sell you anything. It's just to figure out where you are and how to get you past where you're stuck at. And we can address mindset on that. But gosh, I mean, I've tried to make it as simple as possible to get in touch with me or to work with us, either through any of our paid resources or free ones. And if you want to apply for the giveaway, that's truly what it is. Free coaching for 3 months. You're going to work with one of our Hoye Fit trained coaches inside of our protocols. And that's it. When you get in, we're not going to sell you anything. I'm just going to need 4 things. I'll need your name, your phone number, your email. That's so I can contact you if you're the winner. And then lastly, this one's important. I'm going to need why you should be the winner of the free coaching. So you're going to have to sell me on it because we're going to have a lot of applications. But we are going to pick someone.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll have a lot of applications. Well, let's go ahead and tell people how they can contact you.
Absolutely. So you can go to hoyefit.com. I'll have a link right there. You can search me. So Joe Hoye, I'm very searchable on the internet. You'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, any social media. We have a free community only for women 40, 50, and 60 plus. I'm the only guy in there. And so it's a really good community for these ladies to just know that they're not alone in this journey and walk them through the steps.
I was just going to, I guess you answered that, but maybe you could answer a little bit more. I was just going to ask you, who do you really serve? Who have you had the most success with? And who should feel like this is the person that I need to work with?
That's exactly it. We We recognize that we've gotten really good at one thing, and that's all we're going to do. Because there are so many women, 40, 50, and 60 plus, that we can help. We're never going to run out of it. And if we can help them, this is my whole goal. If I can help a woman that's 40, 50, 60 or older, they're going to teach their children. And then their children are not going to go through what they went through. So ultimately, it's me trying to repeat the process of my mom helping me.
Yeah, that's so good. One thing I want to add, I think that I'm sure, again, you'll agree with this. Uh, the goal, if you have a goal to lose weight, that's just like a New Year's resolution. That's the worst New Year's goal you could have. So you have to tie your goal to what's truly important to you. And you just mentioned it for your own children. When I talk to people like that, when they say they want to lose weight, I say, well, why? And I keep drilling down why. And usually it comes to what you said, because you want to be a good, better role model for your children, and you want to be healthy, and so you can be around to support and enjoy your children, right? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, every single time. And we do the same thing. It's like, okay, well, what's your goal, Becky? And she's like, I want to lose 45 pounds. Okay, great. Why do you want to lose 45 pounds? To feel better. Okay, why do you want to feel better?
Exactly.
So that I can show up better for my kids. Like, okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Exactly.
So finding that why is going to be a really important piece, so that you don't always rely on motivation. You rely on your why.
Yeah, that's so good. Well, we still got about 3 more minutes here. So let's talk a little bit about helping people to. I know there's still some people think, well, that sounds all good, but I don't know if I can do it, or it hasn't worked for me in the past, and all these sort of things, that all these still limiting beliefs that people have. So I think the message here too that you want to get out, and I want to get out, is you can do this. No matter what's happened in the past, right, or no matter what your experience has been, if you get with the right program and change your mindset and do the thing that you're going to teach them, they can have success. So talk a little bit about that. How can you encourage people to realize that they can do it no matter what's going on in the past?
Well, I'm not going to speak for you, Rico, but I'm not a genius. Like, I'm not a special person. And I have gone from too skinny to too fat to now where I want to be. I've helped thousands of women do the same. And to be honest with you, none of those women were special. Yes, they were great people. I love them all, but there's nothing special about them. And so if all of these non-special people can do it, anybody else listening can too. Yeah. What we talked about before, it's going to come down to a decision. That's the first step in anything, is making that decision. After that, I would analyze, what have you done in the past, right? Has everything you've ever done only been a weight loss attempt? Have you only ever cut your calories? Well, then that probably doesn't work. We should try something new to get a different result. And so instead, right, there's no gatekeeping here. I'm not trying to keep a secret. You can download my diet detox book, or you can do it on your own. The first step is figuring out where you are right now nutritionally. So let's figure out, how many calories are you eating? And then from there, figure out how many calories do you need, and start working your way to that. If you don't know how many calories you need, all you have to do is go online, type in TDEE calculator. That stands for total daily energy expenditure. It's how many calories you burn throughout the day. Put in your body metrics, so your age, your height, your weight, your gender, and that's going to spit out an accurate guess of roughly how many calories you need. And I'm willing to bet, if you do that right now, and you're someone that this message speaks to, you're eating less than that. And if I'm right on that, you can assume I'm probably right on the rest of the things that I just said. And so let's give it a try.
Yeah, that's so good, Joe. Okay, we still have a minute left here. How about just tell people, after they go through your program and really get down and reduce that body fat, they feel so much healthier and energetic and got their nutrition going good. What is the impact on their life? What's the main transformation you've seen in their life?
Man, that's hard to say. There's like so many main transformations.
Yeah.
But it's funny because so many people come in for weight loss, right? They come in for that number on the scale. And when they leave, when they've achieved their true goal, the number on the scale is no longer a conversation. It's more of like, wow, I feel amazing. And I got up from the floor after playing with my grandkids, and I played 18 holes at golf with my husband, and I still had energy. So we went out to dinner and I had a glass of wine. And then that was all this weekend. And then I jumped on the scale Monday morning and I put on my favorite clothes, and they still fit exactly how I wanted. It's like, thank you, Joe, for showing me that I'm not tied to this scale. I'm not tied to this diet.
Yeah.
Now I just have a lifestyle that I want and
That's
love.
so good. That's what it's about,
you know?
having the lifestyle that you want. Well, Joe, thank you so much. It's been really informative, and thank you for the work that you're doing. So that's it for this episode. I definitely encourage you to go to joehoye.com and check out all the free things he has. So if you enjoyed today's episode, tell your friends about the Fearless Aging TV show. And also, I'm going to let you know that you can go to agelesslivinglifestyle.com and click on our TV show link, and you can subscribe to our channel so you'll get to know when the next one is coming up. Thanks very much for being here.
Love it, Rico.